Hi, Siga here. Welcome to our Week 7 wrap-up where we went from Nuuk to Sisimiut via the inner lead routes, and very challenging navigation it was too. This first leg of the journey was approximately 70 miles through the inland waterways, and we ended up stopping for the evening at an abandoned village. It used to be an old whaling station.
What have we got? Up 1, down 2, up 2, down 1.
So that's actually 7 meters.
That's 7.
Oh, it looks like a sandy bottom.
Sandy?
It looks like it.
Okay, that's good.
Before we weighed anchor in the morning, we decided to go for an explore ashore. On a misty, foggy landing, we then stepped up and wandered through the abandoned village, looking a bit sad and derelict. After about a 30-minute walk around, we thought we were starting to get the lie of the land. We'd found generator houses and we'd found what looked like an old refrigeration plant, so I figured it was probably an old whaling station. We did a bit more research, so we managed to find a paper written in 1991 about a bit more of the history of the place, and it turns out that it was originally settled by the Inuit, and they did use it as a whaling hunting area. However, the traditional methods of hunting were lost as European and American whalers came and depleted the stocks nearby to the coast. Following that, the Danish government actually established a whaling ship with that location as its base, where they would hunt whales from further out, bring them in and process them, freeze them, and send that frozen processed whale meat to the local communities. So all in all, a very interesting walk and a very interesting history of the area, which tells of a time of prosperity, but also a time of a loss of traditional hunting methods in the area caused by outside influences. After we had finished our walk around the abandoned village, we continued wending our way up the coast through the inland waterways. Thankfully, this section was a bit better charted, so it could go a little bit faster, still being overtaken by the locals at 40 knots in large boats. After a short couple of hours in Nuuk, we continued on our way to Sisimiut, which was not on any of the books as an anchorage. However, having a look at it as we were sailing past, it looked really nice.
I have no concept of size or scale.
That afternoon we went for a walk ashore and were quickly beaten back by helicopter-like mosquitoes. Despite that, we decided the next day to go for another walk up the Glacier Lake, which was absolutely stunning, but once again mosquitoes ruled the land. The next 2 days we stayed in the vicinity of Hamburgerland, which is an area of Greenland with outstanding scenery, massive mountains, deep fjords and stunning glaciers. Before we proceeded on our way to Sisimiut, where we anchored for the night. The next day we continued up the coast and spent half the day on the inland waterways before we turned and went outside. Probably because chart work from there on up was almost non-existent and it was a lot safer to be a couple of miles further out at sea. We crossed over into the Arctic Circle late into the evening, made our way inland again and managed to find our way up another uncharted fjord and found a small anchorage where we could spend the night. We wandered into the Nuuk fjord and were astounded by the sheer scale of it all. At the end there was 2 glaciers which met down the bottom at a small semi-saline lake that was filled with the icebergs that had carved off it.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look at it! We're in the Arctic Circle!
The next morning we woke up bright and early and decided that the best way to celebrate being in the Arctic Circle was, of course, jumping in the ocean for a quick dip. On our final day of this week's journey, we made our way up to Sisimiut, which was a shorter jump than what we had previously had, and managed to anchor in a nice sheltered anchorage about a mile from the main harbour. There we were joined by the New Zealand designed 60-foot adventure launch called Sarah, who is also conducting a Northwest Passage transit.
Very impressed.
I love this rig.
Yeah, it's great. It's really easy.
That is cool, eh?
I do it often just to take us over and pick them up, mainly because I want to get a trip on their boat.
The next day we had another run ashore and the weather was absolutely stunning, and we proceeded through Dogtown, where once again we were greeted by several thousand sled dogs. The adults were all chained up outside their kennels and the puppies were left free to roam.
Oh my goodness!
We continued on our exploratory walk, climbing up to the top peak of Nuuk, which is a little over 700 metres high, and the last part was essentially rock climbing, but it had a stunning view of the entire area, looking back down the coast from which we had already come, as well as looking up the coast where we were about to head to. On the way back down we saw some more wildlife, in this particular instance an Arctic fox looking particularly camouflaged in his summertime get-up of a grey coat, but he still had a hint of a white tail. Making our way back down to town, we were once again ambushed by hordes of puppies and then proceeded back to the boat.
It's like a waterfall of puppies.
7 of them.
Oh, you guys are like little polar bears.
This is the one through 5.
And this footage gives you an idea of the little fishing harbour that was there, including other visiting yachts and the local fishing boats, some of which are still fitted with whaling harpoons, which are occasionally used. Back on board was time for dinner. This time it was a delicious meal cooked by Steve of Arctic Char, which had been dropped off by a couple of local friends we'd made the previous day, and washed that down with some beverages cooled with snow that we'd recovered from the walk we'd done earlier on today. Thanks for watching our week 7 wrap up, and tune in again for another week where we go up to Ilulissat, some more glaciers, more wildlife and more adventure.